Good morning, friends, on Zoom and YouTube. We will begin our devotional in just a few moments. Good morning, friends on Facebook. Welcome to our daily devotional. We'll begin in just a moment. Good morning, fellow pilgrims and friends and neighbors, and welcome to our daily devotional from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn. And this week, as we prepare for the new year, at the end of this week, we have been reading John, the Gospel of John, chapter 1. And we read and focused yesterday on the first 5 verses. And we talked about how the evangelist, the author of the Gospel of John, is emphasizing and trying to express the distinctiveness of Jesus as the Christ, who is not another God, but is actually a part of the Godhead. So not another God, but a part of what we call the Trinity, and emphasizing this. And what's interesting about verses 1 through 5 is that there's no mention of either Jesus or the Christ by name. So we make an assumption about these first 5 verses, that is, that the reference is to Jesus the Christ, based on the verses that we're going to focus on this morning, verses 6, 7, and 8. So let's read John 1, verses 6, 7, and 8. There was a man sent from God whose name was John. He came as a witness to testify to the light, so that all might believe through him. He himself was not the light, but he came to testify to the light. So in the first 5 verses of this chapter, you have this emphasis on how the light, the word, the logos, transcends and is eternal, is something that was recalling the language of Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God. So this logos is present eternally. It transcends time and history. And then you have verses 6, 7, and 8, which are the verses that directly connect this transcendent logos to time and history. And it's interesting that it does so in the person of John. Now, this is John the Baptist, though it's interesting that the Gospel of John never uses the term Baptist. And the Gospel of John focuses on how John testifies that he was not the light, but this logos who has come is the light. But the important part of these verses is that they connect the eternal, the transcendent, with time and history, and they do so in a human being named John. So John was not the light, and I think this is very important because it's simply emphasizing the distinction between an ordinary human being and Jesus the Christ, that there is something distinctive about the Christ, about Jesus, that is not characteristic of human beings. And in this case, Jesus is the Logos. Now, I just want to emphasize for our purposes this morning and our reflection this morning that I think what's most powerfully important about this is that the eternal, in the person of Jesus, the Christ, comes to us in time and history, and we have access to God essentially through the presence of this Logos in the person of Jesus the Christ. So a big part of the gospel is this emphasis on the fact that the eternal is accessible to us, that the eternal has come to us, and that we have access to the light, and that we, like John, will testify to that with our lives. That is, our lives, as John's did, will show that Jesus is the light, the one who has come to provide true light for the entire world. I'm going to close with this word of prayer. This is actually a first century prayer from a Roman Christian by the name of Clement, and this will be our closing prayer. We beseech thee, Master, to be our helper and protector. Save the afflicted among us. Have mercy on the lowly. Raise up the fallen. Appear to the needy. Heal the ungodly. Restore the wanderers of thy people. Feed the hungry. Ransom our prisoners. Raise up the sick. Comfort the faint-hearted. Amen. Thank you for joining me from Pilgrim Congregational Church. I'm Patrick Horn, and I hope you have a great day. Goodbye.